Hello, good afternoon, friends. Today we start the next topic, that is column chromatography. So, in column chromatography, the adsorption of the components take place on the surface of the stationary phase, and therefore it is also called as the adsorption chromatography. Okay, so the chromatographic columns were a glass tube, and this glass tube having the diameter of 40 to 45 mm in diameter, yeah, 50 to 500 centimeter in length, with the solid particle as a stationary phase. So let's see the principle of this adsorption chromatography. The rate of adsorption varies with a given adsorbent for a different material, and this principle of selective adsorption is used in the column chromatography. So mixtures which is to be separated is dissolved in a suitable solvent and allowed to pass through the tube containing the adsorbent. Then the component which has a greater adsorbing power is adsorbed in a upper part of the column and vice versa. That means the column with having the substance which having the less adsorption is get eluted first. That means it is less adsorbed. Then the band formations occur due to difference in adsorption, and the formed band having the different adsorb on the surface of the stationary phase is called the chromatograph, and the portion of the column which is occupied by the particular substances is called its zone. So after the separation of the components, there is a formation of zone take place. See here, in this case, suppose there are A and B, the two samples, and this is the adsorbent, that is a stationary phase, and if we add eluent, that is a mobile phase, a solvent, then this A and B are passing over this stationary phase, and as B is less adsorbed, then the B is going down first, and A is strongly adsorbed, so A remain behind. So after passing continuous over mobile phase over this stationary phase, the components get start to separate. So B get separated first, as it is less weakly adsorbed and A is strongly adsorbed. So we get the two layers like this, A and B, and there is a formation of bands, A or B bands, and after continuous elution, continuous passing of the mobile phase, there is formation of the two separate bands, and these are called the zones, A zone and the B zones. Okay, so this is the pictorial form of the chromatographic techniques. So here these are the column which is packed to the stands, and this sample which is to be separated is added here. Now here is formation of the band take place. Let's see here. You can see the different parts, different zones are formed here, and these are collected separately in the fractions in the separate collecting container. Okay, so column chromatography is a technique which are used for the separation of the mixtures which are dissolved in a minimum quantity of the mobile phase, and the entire sample is introduced into the column at once and get adsorbed on the top portion of the column, and from this there is zone formation take place. So individual sample can be separated by the process of elutions. So this is again the diagram for how the column is adjusted on the stand, and here is additions of the sample, that is mixture, which is to be separated here at the top of the column. Okay, this is the band formations. Here see here the weakly adsorbed part, that is yellow parts, is moving down, and strongly part is strongly adsorbed at the top. So there is formation of such type of zone, and if we continuous keep adding a new solvent, that means addition of the mobile phase, there is a separation of two zones, and as these are strongly adsorbed, the weakly adsorbed yellow component gets separated. Here we collect this yellow. Now all the yellow components are removed. Now use the polar solvent to separate this blue zone, that is the another part of the mixtures, that is the sample, which is remain behind, which is strongly adsorbed. So you can now, once one part, that is yellow, the type of zone is eluted, that means one sample, one component is removed from the mixtures, then the another fraction of the sample, that is the second component, can be separated by adding more polar solvent over this. The process get removal of the all the components is with solvent, that is novel phase, is called as the elution, and the removal of this stationary that part sample components along with the mobile phase is called eluent. Okay. Then there are two types of the procedure to separate the constituents. Okay, as the two components get separated and there is formation of zone. So after the development of the column of the adsorbent, the various zones are formed, and these various zone formed are cut with a knife at boundaries, and the substances present in the zone extracted with a suitable solvent. And the process the process of the recovery of the constituent from the chromatogram is known as the elutions. And the second technique, procedure to separate the constituents are, after the development, each component collected separately by flow of the solvent, and each component collected separately as it reaches the end of the column and is released. Then let's see the experimental techniques. So the experimental techniques details involves the apparatus. The apparatus consists of a straight glass tube with length to diameter ratio in the ratio of 20:1, and 40:1 is the standard length to diameter ratio for the glass tube. Okay. Then the adsorbent. So the adsorbent which is used to prepare a stationary phase having the following characteristics. The particle is a spherical and uniform particle size. Then the mechanical stability is more. So the more stable particles are used as adsorbent, and they should not react with the solvent or sample components. The adsorbent which is to be used, they should not be react with the solvent or the sample components. Then small amount of soluble component as possibles. Then inactive neutral surfaces are used as the characteristic for the adsorbents. Example, the aluminum oxide activated by heating to about 200 to 300 degrees Celsius in a current of air, or CO2, these are the used as an adsorbent. Then other type of adsorbent that is used are the silica gel, then activated charcoal, magnesium oxides, and magnesium carbonate, barium carbonate, etc. are used as the adsorbent. Then preparation of the adsorption column. So in the preparation of adsorption column, the glass wool or a cotton plug is used as a support for the column, because when we add a stationary phase, that is if we add silica in the column, there is a support in the column so that there is no removal of silica from the bottom of the glass tube, and therefore we use generally cotton wool, glass wool plug are used for the supporting the column. Then adsorbent is added in a portion so that the tube is packed uniformly with the adsorbent, and whenever any portion is added, it is pressed with flattened glass rods. Okay, so that there is a compact arrangement of the particles occur in the column, and there is uniform layer formation take place when we press with the rod, and by pressing with the rod there is no gap empty spaces is there by the pressing with the glass rods. Then the solvent used for the technique is the uh, that is eluent. The solvent used to remove the required content of the zone from the mechanically separated parts of the column, that is called as the eluent. And then the solvent which is having the boiling point range in the range between 40 degrees Celsius to 85 80 degrees Celsius are commonly used because the sample which is collected in the solvent get easily evaporated. If we use high boiling point solvents, then it is again difficult to evaporate the solvents and to recover our sample components. Okay, then the solvents which having boiling point 40 to 80 degrees Celsius are used. Usually the petroleum, light petroleum are used which have the boiling point above 80 degrees Celsius. Then the cyclohexane, carbon disulfides, benzene chloroform, carbon tetrachlorides, methylene chlorides, ethyl acetate, ethyl alcohol, acetone and ether are used as a solvents. Then the successive evaluation. So for the complex sample, it may be necessary to use a series of solvents. If the complex sample is there, then the series of solvents are used for the separations. So the first solvent in the analysis of complex mixture is a heptane. So generally we use a heptane as a solvent, starting solvents, and later removes the paraffin from the samples. So each change in solvent brings about the elution from the sample of different set of organic functional groups. So next, gradient elutions. So in gradient elutions, the change in solvent leads a problem in collecting fractions. Gradient elution means this can be avoided by selecting two miscible solvents and with the different dielectric constants. So in the gradient elutions, we can use two solvents which having miscibility, which can be miscible in each other, but with different dielectric constants. So they are differ with dielectric different in their dielectric constants. So generally the pair of solvents are used for the gradient elutions are the water methanol, water acetonitrile and dioxazine THF solvents are used for the gradient elutions. Then the detectors, these are used to monitor and determine quantitatively dissolved substances emerging from the column. So there are 5 types of the detectors. These are the optical detectors, differential refractometers, detector based on heat of adsorption, flame ionization detector, and the conductivity detectors. So let's see first optical detectors. So these are old type of flow analysis which are the very small cell made from the glass or the quartz and are used for the continuous photometric analysis with the visible or UV light of appropriate wavelength. Then if the sample not appear in this region, reagent added to produce the color reactions and which can be measured photometrically. Then differential refractometers. In the differential refractometers, the refractions of emerging power employed for the detection, and this method has been improved to a differential refractometers having the sensitivity limit of the detections 10 raised to 6 gram. Then detectors based on heat of adsorption. These detectors are also known as micro adsorption detectors, and in this type of detectors the liquid emerging from the column is passed through two cells, one located on the top of the other, while lower cell is filled with an adsorbent, and the center of each cell the glass covers the measuring point of a small thermistor is located, and the total deflection, that is positive and negative peak, is proportional to concentrations. So the positive and the negative peak is directly proportional to the concentration, at least to the range of 10 raised to power 2. Then the flame ionization detectors. So in these detectors there is an endless metals wires which is passed by the column exit, and the decomposition product of substances which are transported by wire are led to a flame ionization or the organ detectors. Okay, and last is the conductivity detectors. So these are suitable for the ionized substances in an aqueous solutions, and the effluent is passed through the measuring cell of the detector, which contain 2 or 3 platinum electrodes and within a Wheatstone bridge circuit, and is operated by the alternating currents. So the conductivity detectors are used for the ionizable substances in the aqueous solutions. Okay, now let's see the theory of development. I think we will stop here. We continue in the next lecture.